Caledonian people. But of course, what would the American government do, for example, if the the African government are not doing anything? We have an African Union. What are we doing, for example? But like I said, it's a two-way thing. So what are we doing as Africans in Africa, and what are we doing as Africans in diaspora? But in diaspora, we can only do as much as we can. For example, what we did in African communities together was to mobilize fund for our members who are also affected. They have families back home, and we did a fundraiser for them to take care of to take care of some things, as a relief for them. And because we have our monthly meetings, we have membership meeting monthly. And at our meeting again, we try to raise funds during the membership meeting for the issue. And this is what we can just do here as Africans in diaspora.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you guys do, but you probably don't talk about it. But I remember when there was this issue with one of our people, the Suleiman Pogo, who got hurt. I remember you guys tried to contact the family, to help out with whatever you could.
Yeah.
But these are issues that a lot of people won't hear about it.
Thanks for bringing that up. Most time we don't blow our own trumpet. But of course, this year alone, just on Saturday, was this Saturday, we got an award. And for this year alone, we've gotten about 4 recognition awards for what we are doing. And to me, that's a good thing because, like you just pointed out, we do a lot we don't even know. So we do such. When we hear of issues that affect African communities generally, we want to reach out to them. For example, just recently in Houston, Texas, what happened? We were reaching out to African communities in Texas to know what communities are affected. I reached out to the Nigerian community as a Nigerian, and we identified somebody in Houston who was even helping with relief issues. So we connected with the person, and we tried to, give them some money, raise some money for them. But we are still in communication with them because we don't just want to release money like that. We want to ensure that the money goes to a good group, maybe a church or an association, and then like that way you can demand accountability. Somebody is responsible. So that's what we are working on. At least for them to know that there's an organization who is showing concern. It's huge, and we do that always for all the any issue that happens to African community. We want to be involved. We want to know what is happening. We want to know how we can, always help.
But now my question is, how we as the community helping you guys doing that? And I'm pretty sure it's not just your organization. It's probably other organization too. But I feel like most of the time we go to you when there's a problem, right? And it's probably one person here, one person there, right? So we go to you when there's a problem, but not the community. The community doesn't go to you, right? So when there's an event and you guys need the support, then it's hard to get the support. So you end up being with different other people. Because I've seen the city of
refuge,
and could have been more Africans.
Yeah, sure.
But so how can we do that as Africans or as the community?
Thank you for that question. Yes, there are a lot of opportunities to be part of what we do, and one way to be part of it is to show up when we have events. Show up when we have meetings. We know everybody will not have the time to attend meetings, but if you are committed, we will know. And when we have events like the City of Refuge, we need to see people, because this is a country where voices count. It's a country where you have to fight for your right. This is what we still need to come to realization about in the African community. Look at the Hispanic community, for example. They are very mobilized. When there are issues, they come out en masse. The dream, DACA, I was part of the, advocacy, agitation. I joined some organizations to do this, and most of them were Hispanic. Most of the organizations that led DACA were Hispanic organizations, and that's why they have DACA. And DACA now benefits everybody, even the Africans. So we need to show this kind of commitment within the African communities. And in the last event that we had, we understand, people's concern. A lot of them are not documented. So the fear of being arrested was also there.
Yeah, definitely.
But we want to let people understand that you don't need to fear, because this is America. And we know you are not documented, but you need to show your voice to amplify your issue. If you don't amplify your issue, then nobody will listen to you. And if they say, okay, where are the people who are affected? If you don't show up, then that means there's nobody. But if you show up, then that means there's somebody. But of course, we understand the fear, because this is a new regime, and we've seen a lot of arrest, deportation, So, but we still need people. That's just one way. And another way is, I just mentioned our new project, which is the community guardian project. We even need people like you to be part of that, because you have your own community. Okay, in your community, if we have you as a community guardian, that's why we say community guardian. You are like the guardian of your community.
I don't know about me being the guardian of the community. Needing me, yeah, I'll be happy to join or to participate. But I don't know. I don't know about me bringing people. I don't know if people will follow me. I do know other people that people might follow, but for me, because people don't see me around a lot, like you probably would see me passing by. So I don't know about that part.
I mean, it doesn't really the criteria is for you to be, involved with a community. One, not just only being involved, but people know you within the community. People can reach out to you. You don't have to bring everybody to the organization. But what we are saying, be the link. This person needs assistance, but they don't know how to get to us. You, as the community guardian, you are a guardian in the community. If they reach out to you, let us know. You don't have to do much. All you just need to do is link them and leave the rest for us.
The person,
the door, exactly. That's the point. So I want to on this program just say we are inviting you to be.
Definitely, I'll be there. But
Okay.
I'll be there. I'll help the best I could.
Okay.
Now it's up to us as a community to do the rest. Participate too. Because, it's not a one person game. So how is TPS affecting the African community?
Wow. Okay, and that's a very important question and a very big concern within the African communities right now. Those that are, beneficiaries of TPS. TPS, to start with, is the temporary protective status. It's a humanitarian relief granted to people who are facing, political unrest, natural disaster in their country. And a lot of other, regions have TPS. The Somalians, the Ecuadorians. A lot of other countries have, TPS based on their different issues they face in their country. But for Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, recently they were granted TPS because of Ebola. Are in danger of losing that. Now, they've been here. Obama granted them TPS based on Ebola, and Trump is coming to say he's going to repeal it. And for those who got the relief, TPS, were able to work, paying their taxes, contributing to the economy, and were able to, support their family who are devastated back home. And you know what it means to be devastated with such, thing, Ebola. Now they have, the mudslide. Even to get out of Ebola would take years, because at the point people were not able to farm, people do not go to work. So even if Ebola is now curtailed, controlled, does not mean everything is rosy. These people still need time to, get themselves together. And for crying out loud, they are not criminals here. They are contributing to the economy. So for us, it's a big concern for this community because a lot of them are worried. A lot of them are fee-paying members of the organization. And what happens to them if their TPS is taken away? They go back to their undocumented status. And that means that's even more liability for America.
Yeah, that's worse than you know the what how they started anyway. Because it's I went to one of the one a meeting in the city, and he, Nisreen had a speech, and she was saying, if we all don't like illegal immigrant, I mean so-called illegal immigrants,
I would rather say
yeah,
undocumented
undocumented
immigrants.
immigrant. Let us just make them documented and move on.
Exactly.
If you have a problem with it, join us and make
Exactly.
and set it off. Let it be free.
Exactly. And similar to that, I was in a forum where we're discussing about businesses taking advantage of undocumented people, blah blah blah. And my suggestion was like, okay, if businesses are taking advantage of undocumented people, and these people are still working, and they are taking advantage of them, and you still allow them to work. So why don't you just make them documented, give them some form of, working papers to be able to work, so these businesses will not take advantage of them. If you allow them to be taking advantage of them, you are not giving them paper. You are saying you want to help them as undocumented people to fight these atrocities. Is paying lip service. The best you can do is to make them eligible to work. I'm not saying give everybody. You have your way of knowing those who are eligible, those who do well, who have your processes to ensure that people who are ready to work, people who really really want to work, are working, and they are not being taken advantage of by greedy business people.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's a full circle, right? Like, you know, if you allow them to work, they work and they pay taxes. You use taxes, you allow them to work, so it's like
Yeah.
it goes around.
Yeah.
And I also feel like when I go back home and I see immigrants in my country, like other people from different, whether they white people, because we do have white immigrants in Africa,
Yeah.
and even other nationalities. When I see someone I'm successful, I'm happy because it's like, I look at my country like, damn, like it's a really good, it's a great country that you could see someone who's not from there, being successful. And I think it's a blessing that, whether it's America or Africa or Europe, could have people, foreigners, be successful there. It's like, you know, like we at the shrine, the owner of the shrine, he from Burkina, right? He migrated here and is successful. Like he's probably grateful to America, and at the same time, America should look at America as a blessed country
Yeah.
because you allow people to come in, and they become successful. And people, they're not ungrateful; they're grateful. So I feel like you know when I see people talking bad about or saying some crazy stuff, I'm like, you guys should probably travel around the world, and you would see that these things happen, not just here. Like even, but one thing I'm surprised is we talk about immigration here in America, and even when Trump said he was going to build the wall, and I look at countries like in Turkey, Bulgaria, and a lot of countries like uh, Italy, and they had fences up a long time ago. And I feel like we don't talk about these people a lot, like what they're doing a lot, because it's small. I've, Sometimes I feel like the communities, the African communities, are disconnected. What I mean by that is, the communities in the U.S. they're not connected to the communities in Europe, or maybe because they're not organized, or maybe they don't have strength, right? Because this issue is not just even African community. Like when you talk about the refugees, right? Those undocumented refugees, whether they're traveling by boat or by plane or walking, it's everybody, whether
Yeah.
they're from Europe, Asia,
Everywhere.
Africa, everywhere. So this issue is a very delicate issue that people should get together and fix it, because this could affect anybody.
Yeah.
War.
Yeah. I think this conversation, I mean the conversation to start to start this process that you are suggesting was supposed to have started way back. And one thing that I think we have working against us in Africa, I might be wrong, that's my own opinion based on what I've seen and experienced, even while back home.